Cloud. Okay. Well, we can ring the
Wow,
non-existent
that's the
bell.
first time. That's the first time it asked if it allowed us to be recorded. Did everybody else get that one too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did it last week too.
Did it
Oh.
last week for the first time.
It's an upgrade, I think.
Wow.
Did it last week.
All right. Well, here we are. Rotary Club meeting, first meeting in June, last month of our Rotary year. So welcome everyone. We'll head to the next thing as soon as I can figure out how my show is going to work. There was a greeter, but he was known by his absence. Oh, do we have Gus? Do we have a Gus alternative to lead us in a salute?
I will.
All right, Lori.
Everybody, hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and
indivisible,
justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
Resume, that's it. Ha. Well, Nancy Wilson is
Here.
on the deck. So, you've
right,
been
ready?
thinking again, Nancy, is this true?
No, none at all, not at all. But
Oh,
I
well,
found something on life, which I kind of liked. It said, life isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be lived. Sometimes good, other times rough, but with every up and down, you learn lessons that make you strong.
all
I
right.
like
it.
Wow. Look at that, a real Rodin statue too.
Thinking.
Green. Joe, are you with us?
Good morning there, Acting President Michael. Nice to see
Good
you this fine
morning.
morning, and
Thank you.
my other brothers and sisters in Rotary. So, look out the window. It's kind of cloudy out this morning, but that's okay because we can do a little bit of Woody Guthrie this morning. This land is your land. This land is my land. With the verse
Wonderful.
first.
All right.
As I was walking down the highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made you and me.
Always mercifully mute myself on these. Thank you, thank you. We can get this going. Yes, look. Are there cyber Rotarians? I haven't seen any. Well, in that case, cyber guests as yet. It's supposed to be one at least, right? Well, in that case, we're ripping through this here agenda. So now we need to mute all. Let's see here. Okay, so don't forget to unmute yourself when it's time to speak. Let's see here. Hey, wait, did I say something? I looked through our database. I came up with an upcoming birthday. Is Brian Purcell among us? There he is.
I am.
Fabulous. So do you have a birthday celebration in mind coming up?
Yeah, we're driving down to Southern California to celebrate with my daughter, Rita, and have some fun down in San Diego.
Wow. So you're getting on an airplane?
No, we're going to drive this time, taking our
Right.
dog.
Good plan.
Yeah, it
All
should be
right.
fun.
Have a happy birthday.
Thank you. It's a big one, 65, Medicare.
Now you're getting ready to be subsidized by the US government. Let's see.
They are socialist government.
And Bill Schlutius, are you among us? We have a Bill Schlutius.
I am.
Ah, I hear him.
I'm here.
That's beautiful. It says here it's a Rotary anniversary for you.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't remember that.
Wow. 4 years. Seems like forever here, Bill. What's going on? Do you have a highlight for your participation in Rotary that you want to call out?
No, I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy, I hope we get back to the real meetings, face-to-face meetings again. That's probably one of the best things about Rotary. Seeing everybody face-to-face, and I miss that.
Great. Well, camaraderie is a big thing. So yeah, I'm with you. It'd be nice to be physically present, provided it's safe and conducted properly. So we'll be exploring how to do hybrid meetings, which is a path that we want to make sure will actually work where we plan to meet. So stay tuned. I keep doing this to myself. Let's resume this show. Well, we have to provide plenty of opportunity for talk. So if anybody's got announcements and all, let's look at this and then think about what you're doing that the club would like to know about and let us know. So I guess the Laguna.
Is
Go
there
ahead.
a link to the Laguna graduation that we're gonna get?
There's got to be. I don't have it as yet, but we will track it down.
Let's get that track down and get it out to folks.
All right.
I'm communicating.
Marty Webb.
Where is the first Friday live?
It's gonna be at
Over at the park, right?
Libby Park.
Libby Park.
Got it. Thank
Not
you.
this Friday, as next week. To accommodate the busy schedule of our club, because we've got a thing that came out of our auction that's going down on Friday, and it involves Michael McLaughlin. So tell us a little bit more about that when we're through this. That'd be great. Community service meeting coming up next
Monday at 5:30.
Monday. Great. And we're partying on with Chris Brocate at the Blue Heron. That's out at the end of the Russian River, right, Chris?
What time might that be?
What are the details?
Chris is muted.
Hey, Chris, you know anything about this?
Yeah, I do. Hold on, I did unmute
Great.
myself there. Yeah, it's not a surprise. So, yeah, 3 to 7 out at the Blue Heron. we got a great band lined up. Willie Perez and our very own Carol Shoemate will be playing stand-up bass. Willie's been playing music since he was 16 years old professionally, and he's played with the likes of Carlos Santana and just to name the big one. But yeah, come out early if you want. 3 to 7 is the official time. I'm going to be putting up a pop-up up on the hill there. Bring a chair. There's going to be, chair space and places to sit up on the hill in an area that we're going to reserve. And there'll be pizza and yeah, come on out. Should be fun. Outdoors and
All right. Bring some sunscreen, maybe.
Sunscreen, yep, or a jacket. It could go either way
Yes,
out. The
that's
Blue
right.
Heron. So yeah, definitely 3 to 7. Bring a jacket. It could get cool out here. It's always 10 degrees cooler out here than it is inland. And I got a couple of other cleanup dates. If I throw those out there now or wait.
Well, both. When are those dates?
Well, just to give everybody a heads up, I got a couple of last cleanups that I'll be organizing this month in June. And the one that's going to be closest for everyone will be the third Saturday cleanup at Olive Park in Santa Rosa. And we still could use some help out there. And that's an ongoing cleanup. Every third Saturday, we have a cleanup at Olive Park in Santa Rosa. And we partner up with the Santa Rosa Creek Stewards. And if we're trying to get maybe Rotary Santa Rosa to adopt that, but anybody who ever wants to come out on a regular cleanup, that's a standing cleanup. And then this Sunday we'll be up at Bob Cox with Cloverdale Rotary has been helping me manage a first Sunday cleanup in Cloverdale. So anybody wants to go up to Cloverdale on first Sunday, which is June 6th this month, it's going to be a really nice day to get out on the river up in the North Coast. But we have a cleanup up there at 9:30 in the morning. Both those cleanups start at 9:30, by the way.
Well, if you go to Cloverdale, where would you meet up?
And up in Cloverdale, we meet just north of Cloverdale on the Geysers exit underneath the 101 freeway.
All right.
Chris, it's Linda. Send me the information. I'm having lunch with 2 Santa Rosa Rotary clubs today, and I'd love to pass that along for you.
Okay, well, it's just 9:30 every third Saturday at Olive Park.
Okay.
All right.
And you could put my phone number down there if you want.
I have an announcement.
Well, hang on one sec. Let's get through this little list and we'll flip to announcements.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a Rotary International virtual convention starting on the 12th. And there's a lot of great sessions that they line up. That's a worthwhile thing to spend some time with. So keep your eyes peeled on that. And I think you need to register, but it costs no money.
It costs $49.
Really?
Yeah.
Shows what I know. 49 bucks, that's cheap compared to a normal.
Yeah, that's a good deal. And they record the sessions so you can watch them afterwards if you happen to miss one.
Yeah, or there's a conflict. That'd be great.
Or you have to fast forward.
They have stellar speakers normally too, for the joint sessions. And speaking of joint sessions, there's a joint board meeting coming up June 21st, where the outgoing board and the incoming board meet together. And movie night. Who's behind this movie night? Can we hear more about that? Well,
It's sponsored by one of the Petaluma clubs, and they've been doing it on a monthly basis. And it's always an environmental film.
I think it may be up on the district website.
All right. Well, maybe you can do a follow-up notice, boost that. So Petaluma Club, that's great. And rumor has it, next week's program will be Rick Wilson, Witness to History. Just to let you know what's coming up. And then there's a weekly announcement. So who else has an announcement?
I do. Al does.
All right.
Good morning, y'all. I have a big announcement. We're going to be selling our houses this summer. And we will be looking for temporary housing in Sebastopol, Santa Rosa, somewhere in the area, probably in August, possibly September, and needs to be single-story house. And we'd probably be staying for about 6 months or so. So we're looking for a rental. Any leads, please send them my way.
All right. Thank you,
Michael,
Al. So what happens after 6 months?
Well, Angela has to have another surgery, so there's going to be that 6 months period will hopefully be recovery time for her locally. And then we're probably moving up towards Rockland, Lincoln, in the Central Valley, one of the towns around Sacramento, where my daughter lives up that way.
Ah, okay. Well, sad to have you moving out of the area, but it's an exciting new chapter for you guys.
Yes, it will be.
That's great. Do we have other announcements?
I have an announcement, Michael. Can you
All
hear me?
right, Wayne.
Yeah, the Laguna graduation is going to be restricted to 5 Rotarians who've already been selected because of COVID, and they're having it out on the basketball court. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Michael had mentioned the graduation earlier. It's going to be June 3rd. That's tomorrow. And I think it's at 11 o'clock. So.
Hey, Wayne.
Yeah.
So Allie started calling me like in April to get the sound system over there so they can test it. And honestly, you know what it's like moving that thing, but we now need to get it over to them. And I'm not getting any response.
Oh, let me follow up and I'll check in with you and I'll try to help move it over there.
Okay, I sent her another email just a few minutes ago, but yeah, please do. That would be helpful because it takes 3 men and a small boy to pick those things up.
Yeah, I will try to give you a hand with that, and
Great.
I will follow up with her. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I've got oh, never mind.
Hey, Michael, is it possible to pause this recording?
There's something that says pause recording, but it just pauses the screen. Whether there's something you need to say, then
yeah, that as long as we're alone,
you can just unrecord and then start the recording again.
Yeah, you had a glitch.
That's it.
Stop the recording and then start it up again in a minute.
Rosemary Woods was around.
I was going to say a 20-minute.
Okay, your wish is my command. So.
Thank you.
My back appreciates that.
Yes.
All right.
One more announcement.
Yes.
If folk who are on the incoming board would not mind hanging out here in the meeting for just a couple minutes afterwards, I want to check on a date with you. I'm thinking Sunday the 13th in the afternoon. We do have working people who have really pretty much only that day. So if you are Diana Curtis, Michael, Jerry, Terry, Bill, Dan, Natalie, Kathy, Wayne, Brian Bauer, Michael, Joyce, Marnie, and Linda Sinkay, please hang out with us afterwards. Let's check those dates, and if that does, let's check that date, and if that doesn't work, let's go for another one. Okay, thanks.
All right. See what else we got. Come on here. Ah, yes. What is this? Our network of spies sent me this image.
Well, guys, that is my daughter Anna, who
All
is
right, Anna Gadsden.
going to have twins in November.
Twins.
So yeah, twins. So we're going to be going to playgrounds for at least another 5 to 7 years for sure.
Do you
Hopefully,
know if they're boys or girls or both?
no, we don't know that yet. She'll know that in about a month, I think. And they're not gonna have any gender reveal parties or anything like that. They're just going to let everybody know. So
They could have you plan it. Rotary can do the reveal party. It'd be great.
We could. Yeah. So yeah, life is going to continue to be exciting as it always is, and especially with. So they'll have that's 3 for them. We thought they were one and done, so this was a bit of a surprise. Those of you who know Anna's she'll be 39 in August, and wondering about multiple births. Her doctor said, well, sometimes the body has what's called a going out of business sale, so you end up with 2 or more, but in this case 2. So there you have it. It's going to be some exciting times coming.
Hey, congratulations to the fam. Whoa, a business slide sneaked in here. So district grants, communicate with Michael McLaughlin or David Markraven. Any ideas?
Have you started the recording again?
We're recording.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
It said we were recording.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. It's up.
Good.
No,
So,
it's showing blocked.
That's you. It's recording.
Yeah.
Mine says recording.
Okay.
We can only hope. So think about projects that you might want to do, especially in conjunction with our other Rotary Club in town. Yeah, I think we're about ready for a program here. So, well, those were Joe's happy bucks. Instead of a laughing animal, we have somebody named a dollar bill after herself. That was cool.
I don't see your screen being shared, Michael.
It is.
All right.
I see it.
I see it.
I see it. It's
I see it
too. I want to introduce Kevin Kilgore, our new chief of police here in Sebastopol. Welcome, Kevin. His CV is amazing, and I'm just going to pick a few things out of it. At the risk of cutting into some of his time, it's very interesting. He is originally from Cincinnati, and he started as a deputy sheriff there in 1997 and later became a municipal police officer in a suburb of Cincinnati. And then in 2006, he moved to Los Angeles and joined the University of California Police Department. And he worked at both UCLA and UC Santa Barbara. And he was there for 15 years and eventually managed personnel, training, administration, operations, community services, and public information. As the patrol division lieutenant, Kevin oversaw daily patrol operations. In addition, he supervised the special events unit and was responsible for the safety of all special events and dignitary visits on the UCLA campus. He served as the administrative division lieutenant overseeing the police department's communications center, the records unit, personnel and training, along with all professional standards, policy, and legal matters and personnel complaint investigations. He has held quite a number of leadership positions, professional leadership positions, but there are too many to relate here. But I will mention he is the recipient of the California Attorney General's Valor Award, the Anti-Defamation League's Sherwood Prize for Combating Hate, the UC Police Department's Distinguished Service Award, and the UCLA Campus Resource Center's Out Ally of the Year Award. He holds a Master's of Public Administration and Organizational Leadership and a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Management. He's a graduate of Northwestern University's School of Police Staff and Command and the UCLA Anderson School of Management's Executive Program in Management. In February of this year, he was selected as the Chief of Police for the Sebastopol Police Department, and he started his role there just last March. He and his husband are both avid travelers, and they enjoy spending time with their rescued pets, a dog and a horse, and they are enjoying the beauty of wine country and all that Sonoma County has to offer. Kevin, thanks for letting me cut into your time a little bit there, but I did want to relate as much of that as I could because it's very impressive. Looks like you were destined to become Sebastopol's police chief. And take it away.
Well, thanks so much, Charlie. I really appreciate all the time that you all are taking to allow me to be a part of your meetings today. So thank you so much. I look forward to working with all of you and hopefully seeing all of you in person in the very near future as we start to look to open up the restrictions. So I don't have a whole lot of formal things that I want to talk about, but I do want to give you the opportunity to ask me any questions. I'll provide answers to the best of my ability, and I'm happy to answer anything that you might have for me. So anything you'd like me to talk about, I'm happy to do so.
Great.
Chief, it's Marty Webb. How are you? Welcome to Sebastopol. It's nice having you here. I have friends who own businesses on Morris Street. I was the principal of Manley High School for a long period of time. I have friends that have businesses down there, and they're concerned about, of course, when I went to visit my friend Dave Key at Key Auto Body, he says, how'd you like to have that across the street from your house? And yet we have areas in town like around Anley and Laguna High Schools that the traffic is restricted to only people that live there. Is there a way we can do something about the situation down on Morris Street legally?
Well, thanks so much for the welcome, Marty. I appreciate it. This is a very sensitive subject. Obviously, we have folks who are advocating for our unhoused population. We have folks who in our businesses and our residences who are also concerned about the issues on Morris Street. We're all concerned about the issues on Morris Street. And unfortunately, the police department has to have this very fine balance as to how we're approaching these situations. What I have asked of our officers and our personnel is that we start to have conversations with our unhoused community down there, but also our community partners, our West County Community Services, along with West County Housing and unhoused advocates as well, as we start to move forward to try to resolve some of the situations down there. Now, I will say, having looked at various other cities around us, especially major metropolitan cities like San Francisco, Oakland, and Los Angeles, the one thing that I am very happy about our Morris Street community is that for the most part, they keep things pretty well kept. However, that doesn't always address the situations that we're dealing with. One of the things that I've asked our folks to do is to go out and have conversations with those folks who live on Morris Street and Laguna Parkway. The things that I am able to enforce and that we are able to enforce as a police department are the parking and the registration and the vehicle maintenance issues. And so that's what we're looking at. 72-hour parking issues, registrations that need to be valid and current so that they can be parked on the roadway, and then obviously vehicle maintenance issues so that if there are leaking fluids or leaking sewage, we're addressing those things as a quality of life and also as a health concern as well. Because when those fluids are leaking, not only do we have a police department response, but we have a public works response as well. And so it's really taking a lot of resources that need to be doing some other things. So what we've done is that we've started this conversation with our unhoused community, but also started the conversation with our community advocates. and trying to seek their help to try to provide resources for that community as well. There is a Ninth Circuit court decision known as the Boise case. And what the Boise case says is that if people are camped out on public right-of-ways, public property, things of that nature, where they've set up a camp and they're unhoused and unsheltered, that police departments cannot take enforcement action against those folks if there are not enough homeless beds in the area. And so that's the situation. So we can't take an enforcement action related to camping, but we can take actions related to vehicle code violations. And those are the things that we're addressing. When we see things strewn about on the sidewalks, we're going down, having conversations, asking people to take the time to pick those things up. And we're trying to approach these things in an empathetic and compassionate way, while also trying to address the concerns of the community advocates, the concerns of our businesses and homeowners and residents as they relate to all of these issues that are present. It's a balancing act, and I don't have all the answers. So we're doing all the
Thank you. I know it's not an easy situation, and I thank you for your comments are very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Kevin. Hi, this is Jerry. Welcome. I just wanted to say thank you. One of your staff left a note on my car, on my Prius, warning me about the theft of catalytic converters. And I'm just wondering if that's still an issue in our community. And also, if you could say, what are the kinds of things that we as just regular citizens here need to be concerned about, or what can we do to make sure that we stay safe with conditions around our community?
Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate you letting me know about our folks leaving you a note. Priuses, for some reason, Toyotas are notoriously easy to access the catalytic converters. And a lot of times we see not only them being stolen from Priuses, but we're also seeing those stolen from pickup trucks because they sit a little higher and people can get underneath them. So we're continuing to see ebbs and flows with that. We'll go through a rash where we'll see several of those catalytic converter thefts, and then things will slow down. There have been some arrests. There was an arrest in Southern California, and I think that they located somewhere in the area of like 1,500 catalytic converters in the possession of someone. And so they're taking those and they're selling those for the copper that's inside of them. And so as a resident, we would ask that if you have the ability to park your vehicle inside, then to do so. If you have if you don't have that ability to park it inside a garage, it might be something that you want to look at to determine whether or not it's cost effective for you to have a camera system that alerts. But even if it's not a camera system, it might be just something as simple as putting a floodlight on a movement monitor, that when someone is moving around in your driveway, those lights pop on, and possibly maybe a deterrent as well. And then also speak to your neighbors, have conversations with your neighbors, watch out for one another. I think that it's important for us to have those conversations and keep people abreast of as to what's happening. Again, I don't have all the answers. These things ebb and flow, and we're continuing to try to be proactive about them. But obviously, with 7,800 people here in the community and 14 sworn police officers, with only 2 of those typically on duty at a time, we need the community's help as well. So I would encourage people that if they see something suspicious, vehicles driving slowly around the neighborhood or repeated observations of them, to let us know. And don't be shy about contacting us. We are happy to come out and address any type of situation. If we determine that it's not something that is a law enforcement situation, we'll hopefully be able to provide you resources to reach out to the right entity that will help you and be a resource for you. But don't hesitate to call us. We may ask some questions, trying to narrow down the scope of what you're calling about. And then just, I would say that when you do call, make sure that you're articulate. Talk about the things that are happening. You know, there are many times where people are afraid to call the police department because they don't want to feel like they're profiling someone or something of that nature. But it's not about the way someone looks, it's about their behavior. So if you have someone who's looking into vehicles, or you have someone who is lingering around or driving slowly around, those are behaviors that you need to look at that are things that are out of the ordinary. And those are what you need to articulate when you call into the dispatcher. It's not about the person, it's about the behavior that seems somewhat suspicious or somewhat odd, and not something that you normally see.
Thank you.
Chief, I have a question. How's the morale at your station with all the things we see on the news and mass exodus of police men and women around the country? It just breaks my heart what the other departments are going through. Are you guys affected by current events?
We are. You know, morale is a tough thing because morale comes and goes as well. It depends on what the leadership is. It depends on what's happening in people's lives. It depends on what the national narrative is or the state narrative is. And it's important for me as a leader to make sure that our folks have a great environment to come work. And I will tell you that coming from Southern California in a major metropolitan city, I really enjoy coming to work here every day. I really enjoy walking around, seeing people, waving to people, people waving at me. And everything has been very supportive. And so I think that's what our folks are starting to see is that, you know, there are other places that people could be living where the support for the police department is not as strong. And I think one of the great things about Sebastopol is that we're a small community and we've got great support from our community. And we are there to be a resource and a service to our community. And we're hoping that the community can be a resource and a service to us as well, because we've really got to work together to make sure that things are a good environment for everyone, not just our community members and our residents, but our employees who come into the city, our visitors who come into the city, our business owners who come into the city. It's got to be a great environment for everyone. So as we see a morale start to pick up with our community, you'll see the morale start to rise with our police department as well, unless there's something internally that's happening. And so I'm not aware of anything internally that's happening that's decreasing the morale right now. I think so far people are happy, and I hope that I can continue to keep them happy. But my goal is to provide a great working environment for them to come here, to enjoy coming to work, to not feel like they have to figure out a way to not be here. I want them to enjoy the place, just as you enjoy it as residents and community members. I want them to enjoy it as well. So it's tough for a department our size. I would love to have more officers so that we can be more visible and be able to provide more services. But obviously with the pandemic and fiscal impacts that we're all dealing with, that's just not the possibility right now. And so we'll continue to move forward as best as we can. And I'll do my best to keep the morale up. And I hope that you'll help me keep the morale up too by showing your support.
Kevin, this is Jim Glom. Thank you for coming to our meeting, and I look forward to meeting you. And we've had a long history of beloved police chiefs here, so welcome. About the Morris Street issue, I spoke to the owner of the old cement plant. He's the owner of the Barlow, to see if that would be a place where, like an RV park kind of a place, and never got a response. Do you think that that's an option? I know you're not in the planning department, but would that alleviate the problem somewhat if we were able to acquire that property?
You know, it would be great if we had a place for folks where we could have that dedicated safe parking. And I know our city council is working with our community partners to find that place if that's possible. It's tough. And, you know, not a lot of folks want to give up the property that they may have. And of course, anytime that you find a location that may be good for some, it's not always good for others. And so it's a continual work in progress. If we could find a safe parking space for folks, I think that that would certainly be beneficial. But it really depends too, because if we establish a safe parking location for our unhoused folks to park their vehicles, then we also have to address the parking throughout the city as well. Because if we vacate certain spots, then others may move in, and we may start to see a growing population that comes into the city. And so it's a multifaceted approach that we have to try to take to try to resolve the situation. I don't know that we're ever going to come to a complete solution, but I think that as we continue to work together, I think it's important for us to have these conversations, and it's important to have many different perspectives and ideas that come to the table, because some of those may work, some of them may not, and some of them we might have to combine to make sure that they are a good working collaborative process for us as we move forward. So I think your ideas are welcomed and great. And I would encourage you, you know, with all the reform that's happening and the ask of police, I think it's very important that we have a community response to some of the things that are happening. Many times for many years, the burden has been put on police departments because we are the only operation that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we don't have those services that are available at nighttime or on weekends occasionally. And so I think that as we start to reimagine policing, it's good for us to start thinking about reimagining community responses to matters that are quality of life and that may not necessarily be the best for police departments to be handling, such as our unhoused community, mental health issues, those types of things that we've heard throughout the country. And I think that it's good that we start to look at those things. I don't think there's been enough resources that have been dedicated to the things that we need to address. And so I think that as we continue to look for those resources, continue to bring our ideas to the table, I think that those are important things that we need to continue to do.
You may know this, but we are very supportive of the homeless community, and I have my finger on the pulse of a lot of the folks. And so I offer my services along with our club to help you in any way that you might need us.
I appreciate that, Jim. If you would, I'll give you my email address at the end of this. And if I forget, please remind me. If you would reach out to me via email so that I have your contact information. What we've been doing right now with our unhoused community is when we have conversations or when we identify an issue that we are hoping our community partners will help us with, we've been reaching out to Tim Miller and Arthur George. And so we'd love to add you to that list as well, Jim.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I have a question, Kevin. This is Charlie. A couple of years ago, at least a couple of years ago, I read an account in the local newspaper of a hostage situation at a Sebastopol residence. And the account was basically that it was a family member. Once the hostage and the hostage taker was presumably armed, once the hostage was safe, the police department backed off and tensions calmed down, and they came back later and arrested the guy. I was really impressed by that. Are those sorts of things sort of strategies that are mainstream now, or was that just a call of the moment that happened to work out really well?
Well, I'm not familiar with that situation, Charlie, but I can tell you that there have been a couple other situations across the country that have been similar to that. And I think we're starting to see a trend that moves to that. our goal is to make sure that people are safe. And when we've got people who are threatening, inflicting harm on themselves, I think it's something that we have to weigh as to, is this a danger just to themselves, or is this a danger to others as well? And if the answer is it's just a danger to themselves, then sometimes we've got to take that action of walking away so that it gives them an opportunity to realize that we're not reacting to their thought of self-harm. Obviously, we don't want to see anyone harmed, including people who are threatening self-harm. But in the end, we can't create our own exigency. And so what I don't want to see, and what I think many police departments and police chiefs are looking at now is that, if we have someone who is threatening self-harm, maybe you've heard of this concept or not, but it's suicide by cop. And what's happening is that you've got people who are so distraught that they want to inflict harm on themselves, but sometimes they don't want to be the one who inflicts that harm. And so they will take an affirmative action to address a police officer in a way that is perceived by the officer and by other officers to be threatening to the safety of the officer or others, such as coming at someone with a knife or a tire iron or pointing a gun at them. And then we create this situation where the officers feel that their life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. And then we have an officer involved shooting. And so when we have those folks, I think it's important for us to balance the safety of the officers involved, the safety of the community, and the safety of the person who we're addressing. And if that safety is related solely to just that person, then sometimes it's best for us to walk away. So I think we're starting to see a trend of that happening. And I think that you may see that more often than not. And it used to be a concept of police officers thinking, why are you walking away from something like that? This is a police matter. But what we're realizing is as we look to reimagine safety for the community and policing, that it's not necessarily something that we need to address, that this is a mental health issue and that we're walking away. And so if someone decides to inflict harm on themselves, it's a tragedy, but it's also a decision that they've made. And that touches very close to home with me. I had a cousin who was 20 years old who took his own life a year ago, a little over a year ago. And it's very troubling. And it's things that I have to think about as a police chief, and it's things that our officers have to think about as well. And so I think we'll see a start of a trend going that way.
So do you have access to mental health expertise now more than before, where they're saying it's part of reimagining police is to also reimagine the resources you have, because you do encounter mental health situations?
We do right now. Currently, Michael, we're am I pronouncing that right? Is it Michael?
Yes. Thank you.
Currently using the mobile support team that's provided by the county, and the mobile support team comes out frequently for us as well. But we're also looking. We're going to start a study looking at the CAHOOTS model. And the CAHOOTS model is something you can just punch into Google. It started in Eugene, Oregon, and it's a collaborative effort between the police department and counselors who are non-police related. And they address various things such as mental health, homelessness, addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction, things of that nature. And so we're looking at that. We're going to do a study on that as well, and see if we can collaborate with some of our area cities and try to have a partnership that addresses those for not only Sebastopol, but our area cities as well. But currently right now we use the mobile support team, and we'll continue using them as we look for other avenues and other resources that we can utilize.
I have a question. How much are we impacted by, Michael McLaughlin, how much are we impacted by youth gangs in Sebastopol? And has that activity increased at all during the pandemic?
To my knowledge, I don't think that we are impacted significantly by youth gangs. I have not heard of any situations related to gang-related activity since my arrival. And we may get folks who float in and out, but I don't believe, Michael, that we are the destination for gangs that are in the area. I think that they are concentrated specifically in some larger cities, but we don't have an issue with those right now.
Great.
Okay, last question then. We're writing down. One more question.
This is Wayne. Welcome to Sebastopol. I have the police department and the fire department on my speed dial. And I want to apologize. Every once in a while, I sit on my phone and I realize that I've called the police department. And so I hope you don't get annoyed with me, but you know, I just have it there as a kind of an emergency thing. So
not a problem, Wayne. We're happy to take your pocket dial anytime. And so
well, I usually hang up, so I'm sorry.
That's even better. Chief, your phone number is also 1 digit off from the Sebastopol Senior Center. So,
okay.
Just know those come on occasion.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. So that you all have my information, let me give you my contacts. So my email address is kkilgore, and my name is up there on the screen with the spelling. But in case it's my first initial and my last name, so KKILGORE at SEB, as in SEB Sebastopol, PD as in police department.com. So it's kkilgore at sebpd.com. And it looks like Michael Cook just put that in the chat, so it's there. And then our phone number, if you don't have that, is 707-829-4400. 707-829-4400. Please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to be a resource for you. And I would also love to, I don't know, Charlie, if I need to speak to you or who I need to speak to, but at some point, I'd like to speak to you about possibly joining the Rotary Club and being a part of your club as well. Woo. And also, Jim, if you would email me and let me know your contact information, email address, and a good phone number that we could possibly reach out to you, that would be great as well.
Excellent. I know David Mark Raymond is taking notes. He's our incoming Rotary Club president. He'll be happy to let you know what's involved with joining Rotary. It'll be wonderful.
I appreciate that. My time has been extremely busy over the last 3 months. I believe that it'll probably be very busy over the next year as we continue to try to rebuild somewhat and make sure that I'm reaching out to all members of the community, but would love to be a part of your
Great.
Everybody eats breakfast.
I'm sharing the screen again. Hopefully we can make this happen. Thank you very much, Chief.
I look like that sometimes. I usually look like the little baby picture in the mornings when I'm trying to wake up.
That's it. And you get to age during the day some days, I'm sure.
I do. I think my hair's gotten much grayer over the last couple of years. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So Brian Bauer, are you with us? And do you have our way clean joke?
I had one, but I'm in the car and it's like you can't access it, but defer
You better
somebody
pull
else.
over before you get pulled over then.
Somebody else take this.
I could have a joke, but it takes me 2 minutes to look them up.
Oh, well.
That's pretty
Well,
funny
everybody just-
anyway, right there.
Just think of one and laugh.
That's it. Thank you, everyone. Let's see.
That's the joke.
That's it. There is no joke. That's the joke. Joe? Can you
Yes.
sing us happy
Acting
trails?
President Michael, fine job today. Good to see everyone and see you all a week from Friday at the Ives, I'm sorry, at the Libby Park First Friday. And maybe we'll sing and probably have the police call to quell the noise, huh?
That's it. Nuisance call.
All right, here we go. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on ahead. Happy trails to you. Till we meet again.
So Michael, are you gonna call me